All right, so here's the problem that I was helping my client to solve. So yesterday evening, they wanted to get to debug mode from an external system, IBP. So this IBP was calling via RFC into SAP Connectivity Service via SAP BTP, then RTI. Via RTI, it was getting to Cloud Connector, and then from Cloud Connector to ECC or HANA. Like in their case, it was ECC, and they needed to get to debug mode. Like they wanted to check out specific things, and they were not able to. Firstly, when they came to me, like what I was hearing from them is that they tried to create a breakpoint. Like this is a session breakpoint, and the reason why this was not working for them is because when executing program from IBP, from an external application, it's not going to stop on the session breakpoint. Session breakpoint works for the cases when you are trying to execute the program, for example, from the SAP system itself, from the current session. So then what I advise them to do is to create an external breakpoint. Okay, so you do the right click and set an external breakpoint. And we were not stopping in the ECC. We were not stopping inside of a debug mode. In the end, we found out that IBP user was a different user that they were using for creating an external breakpoint in the ECC system. So in order to get to debug mode using the external breakpoint, both systems, SAP IBP, has to enter the ECC from the same user that you are creating this external breakpoint. So, but it was not the case. That was a problem. All right, so let me show you how you can enter a debug mode even if there is no way for you to create a breakpoint. So let me show you that on this example of this program. You don't have to care what this program is all about. It's just something that I have opened. What we can do, the most simple way is to create something like this. Do and do. Okay, so if you create this do and do cycle, it's going to be eternally going do and do until you will not stop it somehow. Okay, so that is one way. The way I like to do it is a similar way, but I like to put here something like a variable, a GB exit, and when the exit is not X, then I will be doing this cycle. Okay, and of course I need to define a variable GB exit is going to be type ABAP bool, and default value is space. Okay, so while GB exit is space, it's not X or it's not true, then we are going to do this while cycle. And then if I change this value from space to X inside of a debug mode, then I will be able to exit this cycle. Okay, so that's the idea behind. Let's activate this program. Now let's press F8 on this program, so F8 to execute, and now this program is going to run. So now we are mimicking this real life scenario that has happened on the customer side. Okay, so now since the program is running, we need to find a way how we can get inside of the debug mode. So what we can do, we can create a new window in SAP, and you go to a transaction called SM50, SM50. All right, so now what is happening inside of SM50, you will be looking for something that is running for a long time, pretty long time, okay, and under your user ID. Okay, so if you refresh the screen, I can see that in my case, something is running for quite some time right here on this work process. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to highlight this work process, go to administration, program, and open up debugging. Okay, so SAP is going to ask me whether I want to debug this selected program. I'm going to say yes, and that's how I can get to a debug mode. So once again, I forced SAP to stop here, and that's the way how you can do that. If you want to stop the debugging, you can just simply change the value to X, enter, and then if I press F8, I'm going to stop the debugging this way. Okay, so you can see that there is nothing running anymore. I can get back here to my program, get back to an edit mode. So that's the way how you can stop it. Just to let you know, there are some cons of this solution, because if you are going to change the program or change a function module or a method this way, then everybody is going to stop inside of that eternal loop. That's why it's going to be smart for you to somehow filter who can enter this eternal loop. So in our case, for my client, we have only entered this eternal loop once the user SYU name was the user of that IBP client. Okay, so only if the username was that IBP user, it was something else, but like kind of like just to give you an idea, only in such case you would be stopping there. The worst case is that you really don't want to stop everybody doing this, especially if you are using some standard or frequently used functionality that is used by other people. Like, you have to use it wisely. So that's the point.